learn to live simply. Learn to live simply. And what that means is the things that actually create fulfillment don't cost very much. Nature, free. You're going to feel so much more connected and fulfilled in your body if you spent 5 hours in nature versus spent 5 hours going around a luxe shopping center buying stuff. Way more fulfilling. You would have a more wholesome experience with your friends at home, cooking together with a healthy, nutritious meal, and your body, your vibrancy, your energy would feel so much better. Eating wild caught kangaroo that's $13 a kilo, having this fun time making it together, and then hanging out there, not drinking, than what you would going to some fancy restaurant where the ingredients, sure, they can have some good quality base ingredients, but there's all these extra processed foods that go into the ingredients to try to make things taste good. You get desserts and like all these fancy desserts and wine and all this stuff, and you're spending a couple of $100 out, getting a taxi home then. And you spent $300, you had a excitable time for the nervous system, but it wasn't wholesomely fulfilling. And it could have been more fulfilling to be at home with friends than out there doing all this luxe stuff, right? Most things that create fulfillment are very cheap. And that doesn't mean you can't go out there and have these experiences if they're really aligned with you and authentic to you when it's time, like here and there. And the caveat to that is that if your baseline if your needs for fulfillment can be met pretty simply, it's pretty easy for you to save money. I think my expenses, I added them up, are like under $40,000 a year. My baseline expenses, less than $40,000 a year. Spend very little. Like my partner and I live in her apartment and pretty much split the cost of living here. It's very small. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. It's not in the most expensive area. Still close enough to the city, maybe 20, 25 minutes to the city. I really like it here. We are going to move somewhere else, but we don't need to be somewhere else to be fulfilled. We can go for walks in the park. We can drive to nature. Still flirting with the idea of moving out there. It'll be more expensive, but we can still be fulfilled here, right? My food is my biggest expense, and movement training and stuff like that costs solid for me. And I do travel. I just bought flights to Europe next year, $1,200 return flights to Europe from Melbourne. And I'll be having an incredible time exploring Italy, going to go to Montenegro, and the whole trip will probably cost around $4,000 for me, $4,000 to have a 30-day trip in Europe. And you might go, well, how'd you do that? How would you do that? I'll make all of my own meals when I'm over there, because if I eat out too much at different places, my body and my stomach and my energy doesn't feel that good anyway. Oftentimes, if I catch up with friends in Melbourne and connect with people that are going to eat out, I'll just go and chill there and I will eat before I go, because I look at the menu and I'm like, nothing on this excites me. I don't want to spend $60 for a steak when I can make my own better quality steak and everything at home for like $15. This just doesn't excite me. And then have chips that were made from the restaurant in vegetable oils, which is going to be toxic for my body. I'd rather just make my own chips at home that are made with olive oil, salt and pepper, and some seasoning. That's all organic. That costs like $2. So if you can learn to live simply, you're very powerful financially, because you're not owned by the idea of what you need to have or spend money on to be socially liked by other people. And I used to care so much about this. Now I don't care at all. I do what feels aligned for me. And I still have epic experiences, really epic experiences. And this is point 2C. So point number 1 was spend less than what you make. Point number 2 is don't waste money being insecure, 2A. 2B is learn to live simply, as your baseline. And point 2C is spend the extra money on things that are actually meaningful, right? Actually meaningful. Like I said, my health, working on my posture is very meaningful for me. I want to live a long, healthy life. My posture, if I just keep letting gravity push down on my current patterns of movement and my current posture, I'm not going to be able to walk when I'm 80. It's like I look at old people's postures now, and there's some serious dysfunction going on, and the head pointing forward, and this swayed back, curved back, rounded shoulders, and all this stuff. They didn't even have iPhones growing up, so don't know what's going to happen to the average person of this generation, but they're going to grow up with terrible posture. That's not okay for me. I want to be able to move, get around, enjoy life, be active when I'm in my 90s. And so posture training is meaningful to me. I'm happy to spend money working with really great practitioners in that area. It's not meaningful for me to spend money on clothes, but it might be for someone else. And if that really is meaningful and you love lots of variety with your clothes and getting cool, new, fun things, you could still do that with brand labels because you care what people think from that. Or you could do it going op shopping, opportunity shopping, or thrift shopping, whatever you call it, where you are. And you could have the same experience way cheaper. So invest in what's meaningful for you. If it's meaningful to adventure and travel, then that's in my opinion, is a great investment. I don't think you should strip back and just not spend money on what you care about. I just don't think you should spend money on what you don't care about. And I don't think you should spend money on what other people care about, because you're doing it for them, not you. That is called being held captive by money. That is not financial freedom. That's financial jail, because you're actually being owned by other people's opinions. You're not free to choose to invest in what you care about. So point number 2C is invest in what's meaningful to you. Yeah. If sports are meaningful, if personal development is meaningful to you, you can still do the experiences at the level within your means that you're at. So learn to live simply and invest in what's meaningful to you. I'm happy to spend money on things that are meaningful to me, but I ain't going to waste money on things that I don't care about. And people just are afraid of shopping at Kmart. How embarrassing. Yeah. Target. Have it driving a $3,000 car. I've got a friend that's in a very, very solid financial position, really solid net worth, that doesn't make much money, but has like nearly $1 million and drives a $4,000 car. Yeah. And he's been doing it for years. Why? Because he doesn't care what people think of him in that way. He's such a beautiful person. People love and respect his level of integrity. People love his kindness. They're not judging him based on whether he has a Ferrari or a Mercedes or a brand new Mazda or whatever it is. Who cares? Who cares? That's such a trap. Such a trap. So invest in what's meaningful to you, because this is financial freedom. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about being free. If you can't invest in things that are meaningful to you, you're not free, are you? You're trapped by the lack of finances. But if you're investing in things that don't mean much to you, you're trapped, because your insecurities are costing you money. And I literally see it all the time with people spending money to get for alcohol because they're nervous of being anxious socially and they want to fit in and do what everyone else is doing. Wasting money on the car. They don't even care about cars, but subconsciously they just got a $40,000 car they don't even need. They could get away with a $10,000 car, $5,000 car, and they're a $40,000 car. They don't even care in their heart. But in their insecurities, they do. They don't want to be judged, right? That is weakness, such weakness, and it's costly. It's costly. You want to get to financial freedom? If you care about that, you're just delaying the journey significantly.